What's going on, traders? Hope everybody had a great Wednesday. It is the 16th of August, and we'll be doing an analysis of the S&P 500, the Spider ETF. Before we get into it, as always, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and in no way should be viewed as financial advice. So that being said, let's get into an analysis of the markets, starting off with the macro. We'll look at some areas I am looking at to potentially engage the market where we could manage our risk, and what to expect potentially into the back half of the week. So the markets were down again today, another red day. We closed down about $3.25. Final print coming in at 439.64, and markets were down about 0.73%. And we have closed here below the daily 50 now, which is sitting at 441.93. And let's see if the week actually closes below that level. So that will be interesting to see how that plays out. But we are coming into this next major area of demand that I have here on the markets, as well as coming to potentially retest, and we've been talking about this, retest the trend line of the megaphone breakout from back in springtime, from this area of consolidation, and now we're getting very close to that. So let's keep an eye on how price reacts if we do start to sell into this next area of demand that I have here. Could be an interesting opportunity for us. And excuse me, we're still going to be monitoring this potential over sold conditions on the daily, but just like yesterday, we took a look at the weekly, and still plenty of room to the downside for the weekly chart as far as the overbought and oversold conditions are concerned. But we're still in these August doldrums for the bulls. Bears still firmly in control in the short term. So we'll have to see how this progresses and how the week ends up closing. Just at a quick glance, normally I don't like to really look at the weekly charts too much until the end of the week, but we are still here below that weekly 9 EMA, that first short-term moving average, which is sitting at 442.56. So let's keep an eye on that level as well. If we do come and retest it, could be a nice short opportunity, or if we do start to close over it, that might be a little bit more encouraging for the bulls. All right, so let's take a quick peek at some of our other macro charts before we get into a plan for tomorrow in the markets. Let's take a look at our fibs, and we were talking about staying below. If price did accept and stayed below the 23.6 here, sitting at 446.25, the next bigger target that we'd be looking for is that 38.2, which is sitting at 438.09 here. So we'll be keeping an eye on that, and although we could see maybe a bounce or two in the next few days, let's keep an eye on that target. But the one thing I did want to mention is that when we do get a move to the upside, whether that's a downtrend, a bear market, well, not really in a bear market, but a counter trend rally, they can be quite powerful. So let's stay on our toes for that. Of course, we don't know if or when that will come, but just something that we want to be aware of if we do get a nice rally. We've seen those before in the past. If we just zoom out here, more so they were happening, last year, but I'm sure people that were involved with the market remember some of these days where we just completely rallied counter trend to the opposite side, but overall, well, we were maintaining that bearish structure. So, this is an example for, right here as we just ripped face up. But really we came right into this trend line and then we sold back down. So let's just watch out for those. We haven't seen really any of those yet so far in the market. I mean, maybe 2 days ago you could consider that one, but overall it was kind of a weak up day, right? We're up about maybe 1.3% was really the best day that the bulls had been able to put in. But certainly want to stay on our toes for those type of potential counter trend rallies in a downtrend because they can be quite strong. Needless to say, and things are not looking too good for the bulls. And we were talking about this downturn coming in to this month back at the end of July. So I hope that everybody was prepared for that. And I'm still swinging some puts that have gone in the green, where I've been able to scale some out of the green. And my biggest regret is just not picking a further out strike, as my puts that I got in, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe more, are running out of time till expiration. And there's certainly no chance that I'm going to swing short, certainly at this moment. But maybe on a nice counter trend rally could be a good opportunity. Personally, I think we could see more selling into maybe the middle of September, and then we start to turn around into the end of the year. But that's just a loose bias, and I'll just follow the chart as always. So we've gone over this chart. All right, so we're going to keep an eye on that 38.2. I guess the other thing I wanted to mention, oh no, not this one. Other thing I wanted to mention, we were talking as well, about this big picture chart. Let me just zoom out here. Watching this trend line, and I mentioned in previous videos over the last maybe 2 weeks or so, as we started trading back under this crucial trend line, that as long as we stayed under, more downside is probably likely in the market. And we've been getting just that. As you can see, no real recapture of that trend line, and it's just been down ever since. But we'll see, how things react as we come into back test this megaphone trend line breakout here. All right, so I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over as far as that is concerned. Let's just take a quick peek at this macro chart here. And we are, let me zoom out. Okay. Oh, just hanging on to dear life at this trend line. And we'll see, we've cracked through another bull pivot, sitting at that, where is this here? This is about 441, 441 basically. And next one, major area we want to keep an eye on, and it's pretty close to that 38.2 extension on the fibs. Is going to be sitting right around 437.80. So we'll see how price reacts, and a nice confluence here with that trend line from the megaphone. So I'm going to just extend this just a little bit so I can have it in front of me. If we do start to sell into that area. But not really too much else to go over on this chart other than it looking ugly. for the bulls. All right, so let's take a quick peek at our day trading fibs now, which I have updated, and we'll go over some of these levels really quickly. New swing low here being put in today with the lows at 439 here. Really is going to be no bull case until we really get back over 441.85. That general zone is going to need to be recaptured for the bulls. So it's hard to think about shorts until that. And the main thing, the other big area that we want to pay attention to is where I was taking a short today, that 444, right? We were coming up trying to flag and could not recapture that 444. That was that key area. That was the major back test of the breakout level that we've been over, which was my target right on the daily, which was right here, right? And you guys can see that retest. We've already, covered that in plenty of the other videos. So that's where I shorted today in the market, right here, just back testing that previous, that was our previous support, now turned resistance, simple, and boom, and we got that move to the downside. So, so that was really, that was a fun play today because I posted on my Twitter. I said, is there nothing more satisfying than fading a bull flag, right? But until we get over at least that 444, it's going to be real tough to make any type of case. But in the short term, because obviously here now 444 is pretty far away from where we are. In the short term, bulls are going to need to see the recapture of the 23.6 here in that 441, 442 area. And that would be the only way I would really consider going longs with the, at least a safer long. Sure, maybe you could try to, go long off of today's lows. That is a thought, albeit risky, but going with the trend would really say don't just sit on your hands and wait to see if we come back up and retest this area, which we may. So tomorrow, we might get a bounce here. We're starting to get a little oversold here on the hourly, and I believe on the 4-hour as well. Let's just peek on it. Yeah, starting to get decent oversold. You can see here how the market's reacted when we were in this area, and oversold here as well. Come on, mouse. Oversold here as well. Momentum shift. Oversold here as well. Momentum shift. This one didn't get as deep, a little bit more shallow. Here's another example, right? So sure, we could get a rally back up into this area, but something that's interesting on the 4-hour to look at is that if we did rally from here and we were looking to short that 442 area, nice confluence with this 4-hour 9. So you got two potential reasons to short this area, but if it breaks over, short still technically on the table up against that 444, 443.60 area, which is again nice confluence with this 4-hour 20. So another short idea there as well. So I'll keep an eye on those two levels and see if they present themselves. But we've had what now 2-3 days down in a row. Well, I mean more than that technically, but 2 or 3 days of pretty massive selling on the way down. It wouldn't surprise me to see a some type of green day tomorrow, even if it's just up 0.25% or 0.3%. But let's see. So far, the the bulls have been pretty weak, and you can see here on the volume, right? Let's just take a look at the volume. When they were bullish, look how small these candles are. And let me make this a little bit bigger for us. You can see the difference in the size, right? Just looking at the volume. look how much stronger the sell side pressure has been. This one was decent for the bulls, but overall you can see that the red is more prominent and way bigger volume over the last few days, where the bulls have not really had too much oomph, so to speak. All right, so let's look into some balance zones really quickly as we come to the end of this video. We've already been over a couple of levels that we are looking at. So we were talking, well, let me actually, okay. So we're chilling right here, right at this area of our next balance in this 4-4 this 438. We'll call it 439, right? This 438.94, top of this next balance. So, if you were bullish and the markets were open, sure, I could say there is a potential trade here up against this area up until 438.35. Yeah, that is a chance for the bulls, but really you got to see, again, as we were talking about earlier, first off, a minimum, bare minimum, getting back over 440, right? Secondary, we were already talking about that 441.80 area, and that's going to be 441.40, 441.75, 80. This whole zone, recapturing this balance again, could open up the door for the bulls, and then possible moves into 442.40. Considering the strength of the bears recently, yes, these are trades that could potentially present themselves, but again, if you really want more confirmation, you could even wait for that 442.40 to get recaptured before even thinking about taking some longs. We are pretty outside of our value area here, at least on the 30-minute value area low, setting at 443.20 right here. So let's just see where they are really quickly on our hourly charts. Yeah, we're below value here on this hourly, and we are below value on this 5-day hourly as well. So that is interesting, and we'll have to see if they can recapture. That would be a decent sign, at least intraday, for the bulls. But of course, you could, if you're bearish, you could certainly try to short up against the 441.80s, 70s, 30s, all up in the zone. Certainly is a short idea, as well up against 442.41, another short idea, or if we recapture, looking for longs. But really, for even more confirmation, if you want to play it even safer, got to get back over 444, right? And that's that retest, that's that breakout level recapture. Can they do it? I don't know. We'll see. But, I've certainly been playing a lot more short side recently. And it's so funny, over the last 3 months before this, looking back at my tracker, as I journal my trades, everything was like long. And now this month, everything's like short. But, you just got to play the charts as always. So yeah, those are some bull levels we're looking at, some counter trend trades that we're looking at. As far as the breakout trades, the other thing I want to point out, look how nicely, right, this came right into this top part of our balance right here, right in FOMC minutes, about 30 minutes after, right into 443. Boom, nailed the short and to the downside. So that was that's nice to see. We as I know, we talked about this area as well. But For the bears, let's look at some other downside levels. We start to take out these swing lows, really, and start to take out, unless we're doing those counter trend trades up here, or here, or even up here. As far as breakout trades for the bears, really want to see confirmation back below this confirmation below the swing low from today, and we're going to want to see under 438.35. Trading under that, of course, we do have whole number, you got to point out, at 438, but under 438.35, 438, okay, then we're going to be looking lower down to 437. We start to break that, and we could start see selling down into the 436s, 435.70 we'll call it, and then maybe 435 just below. And another area where one could potentially consider some long trades outside of at this bottom part of the balance. Sure, you can try a half gap maybe trade as well. I don't like these as much for the direct longs. I tried one today actually on this 442.40. I should have really looked for a look below and fail recapture for the long, but I took a direct long there. Obviously it did not work, but that's another idea at this 437. You could potentially try a long as well. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I needed to go over. Enough rambling from me. I really appreciate you guys coming in and joining me for these daily videos. It would mean a ton to me if you have been enjoying them to subscribe to the channel. Liking them on YouTube really helps push the videos out to more viewers as well. So I hope you're finding them helpful, and thank you so much for joining me. All right, take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.